I was working for a nonprofit called Prison Moratorium Project, just around the corner on Atlantic Avenue. And I was doing their bookkeeping and office management. And they, like a lot of nonprofits, were going under. It was post 9/11, funding wasn't intact for many, many folks, and they were losing a lot of money. And they had to come up with something that could sustain them in the space and pay rent and like keep their nonprofit going. And I was just like, I have a business idea, like maybe, you know. Then the landlord who was demanding rent from them caught wind that there was somebody who had this idea inside their business, inside their nonprofit. And she just wanted to hear about it. She's a very curious and eager person, Melissa Annan. And then...
Awesome lady.
Yes, she is. And then she came in one day to demand rent. And then she was like, let me hear about this alternate plan that you have. And I sat there and I told her about it. And she was like really taken by it. She was like, that's actually a really good idea. And I was telling her about the children's classes and what we could do for the kids in the neighborhood. And there was tons of children in the neighborhood. And she knew that because she's a resident. She lives around the corner from the space. And then she said, well, let me see your business plan.
I should say that I was on my way to California. So I was going to, you know, make the pilgrimage of all actors and go to LA and just do the LA thing. I had my ticket. I had got my license a little late, but I just got my license or just passed the test. And I was ready to go, had a place for me to stay and to live. And then she calls me up.
I called Kiana. I told her we needed a business plan because this woman has this possible space for us. And then before it was even done,
Kish tried to convince me just to stay.
Exactly.
In New York.
And not leave yet. So we got together.
Mm-hmm.
We worked on the business plan very diligently, came up with all the descriptions of everything. Kiana worked on the profit loss analysis and predictions for 5 years. And we met with Melissa and presented it to her. And she looked at it for like 5 seconds, threw it on the floor, threw her glasses on the floor and said, you know, like basically like, no, like what is this?
I had created these massive Excel spreadsheets with all of these calculations. I love Excel, but I did all these calculations, you know, what I thought made sense. And it did make sense. It just wasn't in the right form. Once I put down we were going to spend about $30 a month for toilet paper. And she said that was completely unrealistic, that it's not going to happen. How are you going to have all these people come in and only use $30 worth of toilet paper? And she threw it on the floor and said, fix it. And so the next time we came back with different numbers, we had made it $300. Just to make sure. She was intimidating.
Yeah, Melissa could be very intimidating. I can't say that I was afraid, but I definitely was feeling like on the edge of something. You know, like the word is not apprehensive. I guess it could be apprehensive, but it's like the feeling of being on the edge of something that when you jump, it could be like 10 feet. It could be like 30 feet. It could be like 100 feet. It's like that unpredictable jump. When we finally brought her our final version of our business plan and said, this is what we want to use in your space. This is how we're going to pay you your monthly rent. She looked at it and we were sitting at a table and she was there and we were here. And she looked at it and she said, everybody thinks I'm stupid. My friends think I'm stupid. My attorney thinks I'm crazy. I don't know why I'm doing this. I shouldn't be doing this. Then she gave us a piece of paper that had a whole bunch of pictures of toilet paper.
Yes.
A whole bunch of pictures of toilet paper dispensers. And she said, you're going to need this. It was more than one. She had like 3 little brochures. She was like, y'all are going to need this. And then she didn't say anything. And then she said, I guess you can see from what I'm saying right now that I'm going to give you the keys. Here is the lease. It was like 100 pages. She was like, here are the keys. And we sat there just like this.
Still.
Brick-faced.
Yes.
And
afraid to move or
yeah,
in case she might change her mind.
Right, exactly.
You know?
And then she said, well, good luck. And then she got up and walked out the door and left us there with the keys and the lease. She said for us to have our attorney look over the lease. And we were thinking like, attorney?
Yeah.
You know? And so, and then we sat there in silence. She walked out the door, we heard the latch close. And then we finally looked at each other.
We waited a little bit.
Yeah, we waited. We finally looked at each other and screamed. You know, we screamed we were like, oh my gosh, we're looking at the keys and the lease, like the keys and the lease, like the space, empty 2,400 square feet space, like it was insane. And then we walked out the door and locked up behind ourselves. It was the first time ever locking up our commercial space. It was ours from that day. And we screamed. We started to run. We didn't know what to do. Like, literally. We're like, okay. We did. We started running down Atlantic Avenue. And then eventually we got to the corner of the train station. We're like, okay, we have to do this.
We're going to do this now.
We're going to do this now. And we started coming to the space to work. We did. There was nothing in there. It was an empty space. We had a desk and a computer.
And some chairs. So my mother brought up from Baltimore that she saw. She's like, oh, I think you might need some chairs. Because we thought at this meeting, that she was going to do another, revision of our business plan or give us more notes and different things like that. So we had no clue that we were this close to actually getting the space.
Exactly.
So, or we thought she might have, was just going to say no.
How close is our business plan to what we have now? I can tell you that it is literally nowhere close. We have probably one component that's on our business plan that is what we do now, and that's our classes. Maybe two components. One thing that we really learned early is that when we are provided with customers, and we're so blessed to have anybody coming and knocking on our door, that we give them what they're asking for. So if that's not in our business plan, okay, that's what we will give them anyway, So we wanted to do all of these enrichment classes for children, which we do now, and we eventually brought into our preschool program, and we do them, but not in the same vein that we had presented them in our business plan. People came in and said, we need a place to play when it's too cold outside. We need a play space. That was not in our business plan or in our brainstorm process for our business, but we had one within a week. Five people came in and asked us for this. We literally went to IKEA, got everything we need, brought her stereo from Harlem, set it up in the back and put some kid CDs, put the things out, and voila, play space. And we were open. So that's
and
how we did.
The CD player jumped too.
When the kids played around it too much, the CD player would skip. It was something. But that was our first start.